Sales funnel. Last week we talked about how knowing your data can help you sell more. And as business owners, and every sales professional is a business owner, knowing what your data is will help you sell more. It's not always easy to just say, know your data. Sometimes it's better to write it out on paper, and then today we'll use a whiteboard, and look at it from a point of view of, oh, that makes sense. That's the data I should know. So we're gonna talk through how that data relates to what I call the sales funnel. Every industry has a sales funnel. The terminology I'm gonna use may differ from industry to industry, but I believe you're gonna be able to relate it to what you are doing with your own sales process. Now, right off the bat, you'll notice at the very top of my funnel are my sales opportunities. You may call them sales leads, they might be prospects. For this, we're gonna call them opportunities. You'll also notice at the very bottom of my sales funnel, well, this is my money. This is my sold opportunities. The way the ratio is from the top to the bottom will of course differ depending on what you're selling. It might be wider, quite frankly, it might be skinnier. But ultimately, anything outside of our sales funnel is lost. It's bad. We don't make money when we lose opportunities. So it's important to know, and I know by understanding my data, it's important to know where I can make improvements. So we have our opportunities that come in. Right off the bat, if you were to ask somebody, what is your goal? They would say, I want to sell it. Of course, we want to sell it. But number one, we need to make contact. Now remember, we need to contact the right person, and we need to be speaking to the decision maker, but we need to know out of the opportunities that came in at the top of our funnel, how many are we even talking to? That's a data point and equation that you can know. From my contacted, like we referenced last week, how many appointments did I create? How many people did I get to say they will come in for a meeting? Or they will speak to me for a demonstration? Unfortunately, and it's true, not all appointments show up. So out of my appointments created, how many people did it take me to create an appointment? And out of the appointments I create, how many showed up? No different than a doctor's office when they have patients scheduled for the day. Some, unfortunately, won't show up. I can look at my appointments created. How many opportunities did it take? How many opportunities did it take for people to show up? See where I'm going with this? Now, when I speak to somebody and I have an appointment, sometimes, depending on what you're selling, there's multiple steps involved. You may need to speak with them a second time. You might need to collect some form of stipulations. You might have to schedule a demonstration with members of a team. There's a lot of scenarios that are involved outside of just having that first meeting. How many of those first meetings are you having are going to the next step and maybe having a demonstration of your solution, or are receiving proposals? And out of the proposals you send, how many are saying yes? Now let's look at some of the data points that I discussed and how they relate to each other and how ultimately that would affect your sales funnel. So if I know that I'm not speaking to as many people as I should, well, maybe I work on what my initial cadence is, or what is said in my cadence, or what I'm saying if I happen to get somebody speaking to me. Just like that, at the very top of the funnel, if I realize my data is par, above average, below average, I can know whether or not I should be making adjustments. From there, when I'm speaking to somebody, as we mentioned, how many of them am I creating an appointment with? Or how many of them at that point are showing up? Same concept. If my data at that point is saying I'm not doing as good as I should, Well, now I know what I should work on once I'm talking to somebody. Once I'm having that appointment, am I having a decent amount of appointments, but I just can't seem to get somebody to take the next step with me? Well, now I know I should work on my interview process. I should ensure that I'm meeting with the right person, but if I know that I am, well, let's work on what we're saying to that person. Let's work on uncovering their needs. Let's work on figuring out what their goals are. Let's work on telling them that our solution is going to help them achieve their goal. And if I've done that and they take the next step with me, well, just like that, hopefully I've widened my funnel. And where you widen your funnel may vary, but I won't know where to spend and utilize my time on trying to widen my funnel if I don't know the data. So yes, my goal is to sell and to sell as much as I can. But my true goal should be one step at a time, figuring out if I'm doing that step well or not. And if I'm not doing it well, working on it, getting better at it, seeking help to improve on it. And if I'm able to do that and know my data, work on the parts of the process that I could get better at, well then, inevitably, I'm going to sell more. I look forward to growing with you on this journey. Please subscribe below.